Was it merely an accident? A simple twist of fate? Or was the Great Fire of London something more? A shadow that crept into the heart of a sleeping city? A deliberate act of malice? This is a question that has haunted the cobblestone streets for centuries. History tells us a baker's oven was left unattended. A simple mistake. But in the smoldering embers of a ruined metropolis, darker tales took root. Tales of conspiracy, of foreign enemies, of a city brought to its knees not by chance, but by design. The official story is one of tragic misfortune. But whispers suggest a more unsettling truth, buried beneath the ashes. The year is 1666. To the superstitious mind, it felt heavy with dread. For London, it was a time of deep anxiety. The Great Plague had just loosened its grip. The city was a ghost of its former self. And now, this, a fire so vast it seemed a judgment from heaven. To understand what truly happened, we must look beyond the flames. London in 1666 was a city of wood, a sprawling medieval maze. Its buildings were fashioned from timber, coated and sealed with pitch. Upper floors jutted over narrow, winding streets where sunlight rarely touched the ground. Over 500,000 souls packed tightly together. Coal smoke, stench of waste, and unwashed humanity clung to every lane. The summer had been long, hot, and dry. A severe drought gripped the land. The River Thames ran low. Wooden structures were as flammable as kindling. Public watercocks were often turned off at night. Dry timber, scorching heat, little water, a tinderbox. The Great Plague had claimed near a quarter of the city. Those who stayed lived in dread. Paranoia lingered like smoke. Markets, workshops, and storehouses clustered together. Pitch, tar, oil, spirits, even gunpowder. Fuel stacked beside flame. Building rules were ignored. A city built for commerce, not safety. No one imagined the scale of the Inferno to come, yet looking back, it seems almost inevitable. London was inviting fire. All it needed was a single spark. The fire began in the dead of night. Sunday, September 2nd, 1666. Pudding Lane. The bakery belonged to Thomas Farriner, baker to the king. Sometime after midnight, a spark escaped his oven, igniting firewood nearby. The Farriners woke to choking smoke. The fire was small at first, but the stairs were already blocked. They climbed through an upstairs window and crawled across rooftops. A maidservant, too frightened to jump, remained behind. She became the fire's first victim. At first it seemed local. Neighbors roused, buckets filled, futile against the growing blaze. Flames consumed the bakery, then leaped to hay and feed in the star-in stables. A powerful easterly wind fanned the flames, lifting embers like fiery rain, seeding new fires roof to roof. The blaze moved with terrifying speed, no longer a single fire, a conflagration. Lord Mayor Sir Thomas Bloodworth was called. He dismissed it. Pish! A woman might piss it out. He refused to pull down houses for a firebreak, fearing cost. That hesitation proved catastrophic. By sunrise, the fire was no longer local, an unstoppable force devouring London, block by block. The chance to contain it had been lost. As Sunday turned into Monday, the fire took on a life of its own, a firestorm. The intense heat created its own weather, winds stronger than the gale, sucking in oxygen, fanning an inferno. Witnesses heard a roar like 1,000 cannons firing at once. The glow was visible from as far as Oxford. Heat melted lead from St. Paul's roof. Rivers of metal flowed into the streets. Fire engines were little more than squirts on wheels, too slow, too fragile to face the blaze. Wooden mains burned, water supplies were cut. London stood defenseless. Panic gripped the populace. Streets choked with carts and people. The Thames swarmed with boats and barges. Fortunes were lost in an instant. Families torn apart in the smoke. Only fire breaks could stop it, pulling down houses in the fire's path. But the buildings were too hot to approach. Gunpowder was brought from the Tower of London to blow rows apart. Explosions rocked the city, adding to the chaos. A ring of rubble to starve the Inferno, a brutal strategy in a race against time. By Wednesday, the advance was halted. The city smoldered for days, but the battle had been won. By Monday, leadership had failed. The Lord Mayor fled. Into the vacuum stepped King Charles II and his brother James, taking personal command. He rode the streets, face blackened with soot, a calming presence among panicked citizens. He organized firefighting parties and paid volunteers from his own purse. He ordered demolitions, passed buckets, worked like a common laborer. Soldiers from the garrisons carried out controlled blasts, cutting wide gaps the fire could not cross. On Tuesday, the fire reached its peak, destroying the Royal Exchange, consuming the Guildhall, laying waste to St. Paul's. Then the tide turned. Fire breaks worked, the wind relented. London still burned in places, but the worst had passed. A city scarred, waiting for answers. And in the ashes, fear found new fuel. As the smoke cleared, fear and paranoia spread faster than the fire had. Whispers of a conspiracy, a plot to destroy London. Suspicion fell on Catholics in a fiercely Protestant city. England was at war abroad, and mobs turned on foreigners at home. Eyewitness tales of fireballs and oil-filled pockets were treated as truth. A French watchmaker, Robert Hubert, confessed, claimed to be an agent of the Pope. His story changed, places didn't match. He could not point to the bakery. Despite clear doubts, he was convicted and hanged. A perfect scapegoat, foreign, Catholic. London found comfort in a lie. To grasp the human cost, we turned to those who lived it. Samuel Pepys, naval administrator, kept an unparalleled diary. He climbed the tower for a better view, describing a most horrid, malicious, bloody flame, not the fine flame of an ordinary fire. He buried his wine and parmesan in his garden, sent his wife and gold to safety. He wrote of cries in the streets, the sickness the fire occasioned, pigeons falling with singed wings. John Evelyn called it a stupendous and melancholy spectacle. Stones calcined, lead melted, thousands camped in fields with scarcely a rag or utensil. Behind statistics were ordinary people who lost everything. Their words are more than records, they are human stories of fear and grief. What would you have saved first? Out of ruin, a question remained. What would London become? From ash, blueprints, from silence, resolve. In the wake of the fire, London was a wasteland, a vast, smoking ruin. Over 13,000 houses, 87 parish churches, St. Paul's, the Royal Exchange, the Guildhall, 4/5 of the walled city, gone. Yet from these ashes, a new London would rise. The king envisioned wider, straighter streets, grand squares and stone-built facades. Christopher Wren proposed a classical plan, beautiful, ambitious, impractical. Urgent need and tangled deeds meant the medieval pattern largely remained. New codes required brick or stone. Streets were widened, hazardous trades moved, sewers improved. Rebuilding spanned half a century. Wren rebuilt St. Paul's and over 50 churches. Spires reshaped the skyline. Resilience cast in stone. The monument, by Wren and Hooke, stands near the spark that changed a world. In the ruin lay a hidden mercy. The flames that devoured homes and churches also incinerated the squalor where plague had festered. After the fire, the plague never returned on an epidemic scale. Wider streets, brick houses, and cleaner drains reshaped public health. A terrible price, a lasting mercy. The Great Fire is a hinge of history, destruction and resilience bound together. It is a story of failure and heroism, of paranoia and pragmatism, of loss and rebirth. From the flames of 1666, a new London rose, heart of a global empire. Can true progress be forged without destruction? The answer lives in the skyline, forever shaped by fire. Sometimes destruction is history's way of rebuilding. If this mystery moved you, like, comment, and subscribe to Legends and Lore for more historical deep dives.